Music can be found almost anywhere in New York City, from the sidewalks to the subways to the many music halls. But how does one successfully make it in this competitive industry and sustain? Hey, it's your friend Mo, and on this episode of Mo TV World, we're making music with a successful music director. The busy New York City streets are filled with many music industry hopefuls. Some hope to sing backup, produce mega hits, and many, like John Stanley, just wants to be in an environment where he can share his passion.
I was touring with a musical group, and I came home to find my apartment had been just destroyed, totally destroyed by a flood. I had a basement apartment in DC at the time. I had nothing, so all of my music equipment, all of my clothes, everything was destroyed. And I basically had what was in my suitcase as I was standing at the door looking in. And I took about 3 or 4 weeks to regroup with my parents in Virginia. And I said, I'm just going to move to New York. And that's what happened.
Although John moved to NYC on a whim, he had a very good plan installed for survival.
Church has been my mainstay. I grew up in the church, but you always have to have, I'd say for musicians that are really good, you really have to have that church job because it allows you to play on Sunday morning, sometimes Sunday evening, and it frees up a lot of your time as an artist.
Okay.
So,
the city life nor the music industry were new for John, but there was one lesson he learned quickly after his move.
I would do a show at a club or a concert place, and I would leave the theater, leave church, and basically try to speak to as few people as possible. I just wanted to do my job and go. And one of the things that I think that young people need to know today, especially somebody that's young that's just starting out in music, is that it's not just about what you do on stage or what you do in the studio, but it's all the people that are connected. So if somebody comes to see you sing at church, at a show, you have got to hobnob with these people. You've got to interact, because when you forge a relationship with these people, that's what's going to get you maybe your next gig.
Networking was one of the major ways John got established in the music industry. Through his connection with George Faison, the church, and many other friends, he was able to be in all the right places.
A friend of mine that went to college with me called me, and she sings very well. She said, my daughter, me, and my boyfriend are going to Philly. And at this time, I was living in D.C. She said, but we're all going to Philly on such and such date, and I need a musician to play for us to audition as background singers. So everybody was going to audition. And she said, since you're going and playing and you sing as well, you might as well audition as well. So we went up for the audition. Everybody went in the room. I think I was the last one to audition. I never played for them, but I was the last one to audition, and Patty ended up keeping me overnight.
After hearing you sing, not play.
After hearing me sing and play.
Oh, so you got fans in your audition.
Well, when I walked into the room, her musical director, who is now since passed, but her musical director, Bud Ellison, was there. So I went and played, and I remember I sang "The Wind Beneath My Wings." And I played, and she was like, and then I hit a note during the performance or the audition, and I remember she jumped up and started singing with me.
And that's how the wonderful relationship between John and Patti LaBelle began. And after 12 years of singing backup, Patti personally asked John to become her musical director.
Basically, a musical director is all-encompassing, and it also depends on what venue or what kind of performance she's doing. So say, for instance, she's performing for Oprah Winfrey, or she's doing something for Live with Regis and Kelly. Sometimes it may be a track date, and they don't need me. And then sometimes it's with a piano. But even sometimes on the track date, since I'm musical director, I'm responsible for all of her music. So I will have to be talking to these producers of Regis and Kelly, say, and calling them back and forth and emailing them or FedExing them music that she's going to sing, recorded music, so they can use it for the show.
With over 20 years of experience in the music industry, John shares with me lots of tips on surviving as a musician, but the one that stood out the most was his views on higher education.
Talent speaks for itself. Now, if you go to some schools and you're trying to get a job as far as being a music director or director of the fine arts or whatever, they're going to most definitely probably need a degree, some kind of higher education and some degrees from you. But if you're doing other work, such as touring, I know many ministers of music of churches, Broadway people, they do not have bachelors in music. And some of them don't even read.
Don't read music?
They don't read music.
Raw talent is what got John to where he is now. You can still find him singing in many NYC venues and all over the US with Patti LaBelle. The moral of this survivor story is to simply believe in yourself. This is your survival specialist Mo, and you're watching MoTVWorld.com.
That's when you opened up your heart.